What's going on, man? How you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. How about you? I trying to adjust to being out here in Berlin, and it's dope, man. I like it. I'm trying to kind of get my mind right in terms of just comedy and also a tourist at the same time. But it's cool.
And you trying to balance the two out?
Yeah, man. I mean, it's a tough balance because part of you just wants to relax and chill, but also the mindset of I'm sure, as you know, as a comedian, it's like you want to kind of get to work and get to more venues, more spots. More spots is more stage time, more experience. Just getting your time up so you can, the hope is and the expectation is so that you can shop around, not even tape, but just your experience around to get more venues and shows to, get paid ultimately. So
yeah,
that's been the journey for myself over this last year specifically.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's dope. I mean, you on your grind, you on your hustle. You even got the, you got the thing on your shirt, right?
Yeah, man.
It's keeping up with Jones, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So funny enough, I mean, it's like a quick tidbit. When I first moved over here, it was during the pandemic. And so everything shut down. And so I literally had just grabbed like the camera that you saw right there. And I was like, man, I had the idea, like, let me try to do something like YouTube or something like that. And even before I bought the camera, I was like, in my head, I was thinking, going backwards, you never want to go into something with the idea that you're not going to succeed in it. So I was like, years from now, when people be able to see my first video, what can I have on there that's going to be like, in some weird way, like, oh, I knew I was going to be going somewhere. So for me, it was get something with your own brand merchandise on it and start doing content with it. So that going back, you can be like, why you have this thing here? And it's like, I'm thinking, I don't know if it necessarily makes sense, but in my head, I was like, position yourself now to where you want to be. So in terms of, it's not even just like having merch, something like that. It's like the idea of your own brand.
Yeah, I mean, I already seen it. Like when you came out, I was like, oh, this motherfucker on some.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You branded and ready to go.
Right. Exactly. So the money's not there yet, but Hey,
I mean, this is comedy, so we all trying. I mean, that's dope. I need to take that note, man, because otherwise I've been just wearing a black shirt for most of my episodes. So my branding is just like, I need to keep the same hairstyle.
Yeah, for sure.
If I cut my hair, I'm like, yo, who's that person?
What is this?
What happened? What happened to that podcast with that one dude with hair? What happened?
Yeah.
So you moved here during the pandemic, right?
Yes,
so
sir.
And you live. And where in Germany did you move to in the pandemic?
So, try to simplify the story. First and foremost, I tell people when they're like, "How long you been in Germany?" It's like, "Well, which time?" So I was actually stationed here, 2014 to 2016.
Okay.
I was in the Air Force, and I was a firefighter and a first responder.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so I was in Ramstein, Kaiserslautern area, and after that 2 years, I went back to the States, finished out my contract. And then once I got out of the military in 2019, obviously the pandemic was just starting and whatnot. And so I'm moving here at the end of 2020. I moved in with my partner, my wife, she's getting her PhD at a local university and also like teaching. And so moving in closer to the Mainz, Wiesbaden area, when I first got here, and I was there for the first 3 years. And then I moved to Mannheim, or, that region at the top of 2024. So January 2024. So I've been there for the last year. And yeah, man, I mean, in totality, I guess 3 years consistently, 3 or 4 years consistently, but I've been to Germany before.
All right. So yeah, you're not new to it. You've been around.
Exactly.
Things.
But honestly, it's like, and this is I would say the case for a lot of, not all, a lot of Black Americans who first get exposed outside of the country, and especially to Germany. That first station is the first time for a lot of people that's like, oh, you're outside of your bubble. You know what I mean? Like, because America is very insulated. Even within America, there's pockets like you could be like, oh, I'm from the East Coast, I'm from the West Coast, I'm from the South. You know what I mean? Like there's that division. So a lot of people don't even get out of that kind of regional mindset. So for me, when I got stationed in Germany, although it wasn't the first time I was out of the country, it was like the first time I was like living like out of the country. So it's not like, oh, I'm on vacation, I'm touring. And even then you're insulated within the government of the military. So you're in Germany, but you're on a military base.
Right.
And military bases is like, they make it, we talked about earlier, like little America. So it's like everything's in English, you have like the German structure and stuff like that, but you're not really getting out. And so for a lot of like, Black service members, it's like we get here and we're on base, and then you go out to like shop or you go out to like party or something like that. So for me, the last 3 years when I actually moved here, separate the military, was just like, oh, I got to figure it out. Okay. Like everyone's not just going to be like, I come up and be like, oh, hey, how you doing? And they kind of look at you like, it's like, oh, okay. I don't have that American charm, here that I expected. So, yeah.
So, okay. Cause originally you said you from Tennessee, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah. So I was born in Atlanta.
Right.
Lived there for a period of time, and then grew up in Tennessee for a large bulk of my childhood. That's where a good portion of my family still is at now. But I moved around a good amount as a kid, so I was like they say like an army brat. So
okay.
My father was in the army like 33 years, and then yeah, man, my brother was in the army for a minute too. He was like special forces.
Damn.
Yeah, and then so when it came time for me to join, I got used to just traveling around a lot as a kid, going to these South, the North, East Coast. So when it came time for me to join, I was like, or just decide what I want to do after that first year of college, realizing that life's expensive. You know what I mean? I was like,
very expensive.
Let me expound and push past kind of the boundaries that I have for myself. I always wanted to travel, and so I did join the military, not because I was super patriotic. I always tell people that all the time. They have this like idea like, oh, you super patriotic. Nah, man, I just wanted to pay for college.
Yeah, money
and travel. You know what I mean?
Yeah, travel, get a nice car, probably. I mean, some of the things when you're young, you just like, this is what I want.
Exactly. I had three things, at the time, three things I wanted to do, which is I wanted to travel the world, get some money every 2 weeks, get a skill that I could translate to after when I was out of the military, college, and see women from, different countries. At the time, as a 19-year-old, that's creme de la creme. So
right, and you had the opportunity, and then to put you in the middle of nowhere, Germany,
Yeah, exactly. So I was like, you know what? It's cool. I can't complain too much because at the end of the day, I still got the education aspect of it done. Like I finished my bachelor's. I graduated actually this past spring.
Oh, congrats, bro.
Thank you. Appreciate it. And then, so now I'm starting my master, or I just started my master's degree in Germany at a German institution in the English department. So it's
wow. That's so to go back right to like the first time you came here, right? Like, because I feel like it's like, I mean, not even feel like, it just is. It's such a shock, right? Because coming from American culture, wherever you was, and then coming to Germany, not Berlin. I'm talking about you was in, that part. I mean, the base can only insulate you for so long before you start going outside and you kind of start looking, and you're like, damn, these trees are big as hell. Yeah. Like, what's that? Or, this bread different.
So for me, I always say this like stands out for me is that when the first time it really hit me, I was in Germany, which sounds silly, is like getting cash, getting euros. And I was like, this Monopoly money, like for real. I was like, bro, what is this? I was like, it ain't got no old white people on it. I was like, I like it. It's got buildings. Y'all got coins for stuff. It's nice.
Oh, y'all be using fake money. Oh, shit. This is a fairy tale land.
I like it. Yeah. People don't jaywalk. I was like, oh, this is y'all follow rules.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. So culturally, it was different. I liked it, but also there's that aspect of like comfort that you're used to. So it's like, it was a balance. But overall, I would say everything except for winter. Like when winter hit, I was like, oh.
Yeah, this winter different.
Boy.
It is so different. I mean, I talk about it a lot in like a lot of places, but it just always needs reminding. It is not the same.
Yeah, no.
As I mean, the long latitude or something's different. Something they talk about, but the lack of sun, bro.
It's serious. No. I someone from the South is like, or being someone from the South, I'm like, I love the sun, And when I got here and I realized, especially when we talk about like winter, how dark it gets, how quick. And it's like dark when you wake up, and then it's dark by like 3:30 p.m. And I'm just like, oh, bro. And even in between when it's not dark, there's not really sun. It's just like clouds.
Right.
And I think that's what contributes to everybody's like, German attitude for the most part.
Yeah, bro.
Just being unhappy.
Like even for me, man, I'm a happy dude for the most part, man. When it's dark like that, it's like, yo, what the I can't even, I'm always looking down. I can't even look up because it's just weighing down on you. The whole grayness, the cold. Like, all right, I understand why, people are the way they are,
And the Deutschbahn too. I feel like with that combination, bro, just dark all the time, Deutschbahn late. Then when it's not late, the one time you late, they early. It's just like,
oh, you been here for a while. All right. If you got some Deutschbahn issues, you been here for a minute then, yeah.
No, I felt like I was better than people when I first got my subscription ticket. I ain't gonna lie to you. I got that subscription ticket, I was feeling different. And,
shit. You talking about the 49 one?
Yeah, the student one.
Oh, the student one. Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then I throw my American like call it ignorance, but I call it smarts. Like you have the subscription ticket, but it makes you second class. They got that classism here in the Deutschbahn, and so for me, what I realized is that not everyone, but there's a large portion of society when it comes to them ticket checkers that assume that we're ignorant by nature. So like I ride the ICE, which you can't do because you don't have the subscription ticket doesn't let you ride the fast ICE train.
Oh, okay.
I just get on there sometimes when I'm late, and so if I do get stopped, I hit him with the, oh man, I'm a tourist, so I ain't even know, like, after a while they be like, man, whatever, all right, cool.
Oh, that works. Oh shit.
If it don't, and they press you, they be like, let me see your ID, whatever. I just show them the driver's license from Tennessee. Within it, I have a durag on, and so once they see the durag, they're like, I don't want to deal with it, and then they leave. You know what I'm saying? That's my little trick. That's my little go-to.
Wait, we need to take a step back. So in Tennessee, they allow you to take a driver's license photo with a durag on?
No, so they don't. Here's the thing. I had to re-up my driver's license when I first got out, and it was pandemic times. Right. So when I went in, I had a hat on, and to be real with you, the clerk, she didn't really care about her job like that. So she was like, take your hat off for the thing. I took it off real quick. She snapped it. She was like, whatever, So for me, I feel like it's cool because you're not supposed to have one on. And then especially, like I said, when I'm in a situation like that and they see that, I feel like in their mind, they go, how bad do I want to push this argument right now?
Bro, if they see a license with a photo with a black dude with a do-rag, it's like, he's clearly visiting. He ain't living here.
There's no way. There's no way.
Yeah, this dude clearly from the States. Exactly. That is an American thing.
Uh-huh.
Like, I didn't know you could even do that.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying. It's like that's my little wild card.
Oh shit.
So
that's dope, man. Hopefully you don't get pulled over in the States, man. Cause you pull over, you show your license with a do-rag on, they're like, get out the car.
And that's when I show my German license.
Okay.
I'd be like, wie bitte? Start speaking German. It's good to play both sides sometimes.
Yeah, it's dope. Oh, you do speak German?
Ein bisschen.
Ah, okay.
No, I don't, bro. I'll be honest with you. I don't.
So that sounded convincing. You had me.
I learned a couple of words. And what I'm very observational, right? Mm-hmm. I don't know if it's the military or the ADHD or whatever, but it's like, what I've noticed that here in Germany, people really respect eye contact. And when they're speaking to you in German, I just learned a couple of words. I nod, you know what I mean? Like I make a lot of eye contact. I nod with them. And then like every 8 seconds, my head goes say, genau. I do that every 8 seconds. And it's like, oh, cool. And then when they tell me like a story or something like that, and they get real excited, like animated, I make sure to go like, ach so. And it worked. I pass through conversations so much, people think I really be speaking. I'm like, yeah, genau.
Oh shit!
And that's how I get through Germany.
You be adding the facial expressions too. Yeah, so you know when the tone. You be like, oh, genau. You be like, genau. Yeah, keep on going. Yeah, genau. You be like,
Scheiße. Just a couple of key words, man. And it gets me through. My goal, and I mean, this was a real goal that I had, is that I just want to have the places that I go to have enough German so that they get used to me. So then when I go in there, I don't have to really speak. For instance, like I have a coffee shop that I go to. And I go in there so much every time I order something so specifically. Now they recognize me by face. So I don't even got to speak. And I like that for a couple of reasons. One, I don't have to do the language too much. But then two, it also makes me feel better than niggas. Like when you go in somewhere and they're like, oh, and they say it to you. Like I went in last week and like a old German, like white one was behind me and they ordered it. And then when I went to the counter, like she said what my order was before I even did it, and I was like, yeah, genau, Dankeschön. And I paid my card and I kind of looked back at her and she looked at me, she's like, who is this person? And I was kind of looking at her, I was like, winked and then walked off.
Oh, shit, there you go.
Yeah, but then they start saying extra stuff too, and then I get lost. So
it's after a while, start getting comfortable, start asking about your day, how long you been living here.
I'd be like,
du wohne,
yeah. Listen, man, the dirty das is not too hard, but it's the fact that some stuff is feminine, some stuff is masculine, and then some stuff is neutral. Like that kind of be the rules of German language sometimes mess me up. It's not the pronunciation. Like I can pronounce pretty much everything. I understand how to somewhat put sentences together.
Right.
But sometimes it's like, oh, there's little context. And I feel like, as someone who's living here, is like Germans, if you mess up one detail of your sentence, whether it's the dialect, they're going to look at you like, And so...
And you live like more, away. Well, I mean, I don't know how.
Baden-Württemberg?
Yeah, that's like still a populous city though, right?
Yeah.
But I don't know, because Berlin is so multicultural that it's just like, hey, we just happy you speaking any German. Like so my brain doesn't have to work extra. But over there, I'm assuming they're like, all right, you gotta.
Like if you say moin over there, they're gonna look at you like, where are you from?
Oh shit.
Instead of like or whatever your greeting is.
Yeah.
So, for the most part, like I am trying German. And I speak it within my pockets I feel comfortable with. But like when I'm out and about, I tell people it's like, for me, the experience is, this is what it's like. Someone speaks to me in German. I'm listening to you. I got to translate the German to English. I got to think of my response in English and then translate that English to German.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not that I can't do that, but the time it takes sometimes is too long for people in like the flow of a regular conversation. Like you say something to me and I'm sitting there looking at you like,
yeah,
like I'm calculating everything because I'm trying to do it right.
Right.
But during that time, they looking at you like, is he on drugs? Like, what? Like, why is he taking so long?
Start snapping. Like, come on. What
Yeah,
are you doing?
exactly.
Yeah.
Schnell.
Yeah,
you know,
like, oh
so,
shit, I'm sorry. I should have gone.
Exactly. So for me, that's the aspect of like being in Germany, which is a little bit tougher for me, which I'm trying to push myself to do more.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, and it's different. And to be honest with you, man, German's aggressive language.
How so?
It's just very like, like I don't know if that makes sense, but people who like have been to Germany and hear it, they understand what I'm saying about. And it's not like the stereotype, but when you hear these movies, like it's a lot of grunting. You know what I mean? I feel like any language where you grunting, you can't be talking about nothing nice.
Oh shit! There's no polite grunts. Man,
None.
It's all aggressive.
And so it makes it a little difficult, but I mean it's a journey, it's an experience. So
yeah, and
I'm like,
that's good that you at least trying to learn the language, right?
Mm-hmm.
It kind of helps you stay connected and things. But so to go back into your career or your time in the Air Force, you was a firefighter.
Yes, sir. Yep.
Right. And was there a lot of fires in Germany or around the base area? Or?
Not, to be honest with you, man, that's the thing about even like you say firefighting, people have this expectation in their head of what it is. I would say 80% of our calls, 80 to 85% was medical emergencies. Because the thing about like firefighters in the military or just I guess in general is that we're emergency responders. And so the priority obviously is fire. We want to put out fires and prevent fires, but also we're trained to do like everything else, And so in the military, specifically, we had the academy that we went to in Texas was where they trained all branches of the military. So it's like firefighting is one of them things where it's like you don't have to be in a specific branch, like it's the same type of deal. And so we had all the branches of the military and we had people from the civilian sector. So we had local like fire departments and people from all around the country coming to get trained.
Oh, wow.
It's one of like most premier fire academies in the world, I would say.
Wow, what's the name of it?
So it's the Lewis F. Garland Fire Academy in Goodfellow Air Force Base in San Angelo, Texas.
Nice.
Which is in the middle of nowhere.
Oh, okay. Well,
but people who've been there, they know.
Right.
And so the only thing that they had there was fire training. And then in the Air Force, they had like intelligence, people going to like intelligence schools and things like that, which is super secretive.
Right.
And so, while you're there, you're learning all these, the aspects of training fire, but then also you're getting all this like, quote unquote, the basics of, emergency responder training, whether it's medical or, whatever it may be. They have all these simulators, aircraft simulators, building simulators. Like they put a lot of money into it.
Building simulators.
Meaning like a simulated like building.
Oh shit. So you had to do that thing where you put the ladder up and then you got to climb up and everything.
Bruh, listen, in training. So there was a phase that it's like, essentially, if you don't get past this, they would tell us like, oh, you just gonna fail. And so they would put like a 25 or 35 foot ladder up like against the building. And so you had to climb up there with all your gear, hook your legs in and just like lean.
What?
And black people in heights.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was.
Nigga, you had to lean back?
Lean back.
Whoa, that's
Fat Joe
crazy.
style. Yeah. So it was a great experience, but I say all that to say the point being is that, you get all that foundational training and then the first base you go to, they keep expounding upon that. And then as you advance in your military career, you're allowed to go to different schools. So like hazmat school, hazardous material school, confined space rescue training, all these different trainings that you can go to. And so by the time I got out of the military, like I had technically like 11 certifications or something like that in firefighting emergency response, which when I'm in my average, comedian lifestyle, you would think like, oh, these guys just tell jokes. And it's true, it is, but it's like.
Yeah, but nigga, you qualified.
Yeah, I'm qualified.
Yeah, nigga, bro, you leaning off of a ladder and with no hand, that is crazy. You already a certified firefighter at that point. That's crazy.
Yeah, man. So it was a great experience, and largely, I did it. I'll be real with you. Like we were talking earlier, it's like my father was in the Army. He was 33 years, and he was like a drill sergeant at a particular point in time. So as I was growing up, he was in drill sergeant mode. So I already kind of had a level of like strictness. And so my brother actually joined the Army, and he was special forces. So he was a ranger, and having them two kind of set the standard. I was very competitive. I was like, I'm gonna do something that's like not to shit on y'all, but like, I did a tough job too.
Yeah.
And so, but then I joined the Air Force, and people in the military community, they'd be like, Air Force is cool, but for the most part, they'd be chilling. And so, choosing firefighting was in part just the young, egotistical nature of it, but then also, I wanted to do a job where it would be your job every day to try and help someone. I was against the idea of like I'm very politically minded. So in terms of the military, like I have a lot of strong opinions that are anti-military in terms of our presence in different countries. But I knew that joining the military, let me do a job where I'm not going to be in a position to have to like go hurt someone or go kill someone, because that's not necessarily what I believe in or line up with. But so yeah. And then when you get out of the military, I was like, I'm not going to do this for a long time. I'm doing it for a short time, get the career, get the experience. So when you get out, like I said, you have 6 years experience, a lot of certifications, and yeah, it was fun.
That's interesting that you say that about like the the political stuff into it, about, because I feel like probably people that are in the military probably do have, we all people, right? So we have some agreeing, some disagreements and stuff. I mean, how difficult was that to like, be in that environment, but then maybe have some opposing like thoughts?
I mean, I'll be honest with you. So it was a little complicated, and there was points that I kind of look back on and regret now, but there was points where I would kind of try to shut my brain off, if that makes sense to a degree, meaning that like certain conversations you have with people, you can tell it's kind of not really going anywhere, or certain stuff you're saying is going over their head. And so for me, joining the military was realizing that it's opportunity to embrace people of different cultures all around the country, but then also know that people have some wild views, because a lot of times people are isolated in their communities or their pockets where they grew up. Some people, like I met people who didn't really interact with black people until they joined the military. So even the stuff that they would say, like they think it like it's normal, and it's just like, what you saying is mad racist right now. You know what I mean? But it's just like,
it's always whack to be the first black person for someone to interact with, and then you're like,
it's too much pressure, man. I hate it.
Too much.
I feel like I gotta use proper pronunciation and enunciation, and then it's like in the military as well too. Is like you have to be professional to a certain degree.
Right.
So it's like when I tell people, it's like when you've had that nigga slip sometimes, when you kind of let it come out, and they kind of they get shocked. And I'm like, it's interesting. But to talk to your point, so people in the military, everyone is human to a degree, but there are people who join the military with the idea of like the propaganda that a lot of us were fed into, especially we talking post 9/11. It's the idea of like radical Islamic jihadists, and like just the idea. I remember like one of the first deployments I went on, I was on there with a couple of dudes, and they were just like, yeah, the way they're talking about other human beings, let me just simplify it, it's just like ignorant. I mean, that's the best way to put it. It's just based off a lot of ignorance, and it's like you kind of want to challenge people, to myself included. I had to challenge myself to educate myself more. So one of the first deployment I went on to was the first time I was in the Middle East, and the first time that I had heard the Adhan, which is the call to prayer in Islam. And I thought to myself, man, this is beautiful. And then I saw like everyone on base, or all the locals, kind of shutting what they were doing down and praying. And I was like, oh, okay, that pushed me to educate myself a little bit more. And so um, that's also one of the benefits of having the opportunity to be in the military. But then from a larger kind of a macro view, it's like you got to understand that you're part of a system too. So however much your beliefs are or whatever it is, you're volunteering for service. No one forced you to join. This isn't the draft in the 70s. So you're volunteering to join, but also you understand that you're part of a larger system. So it's like, call it the military industrial complex, whatever it is you want to call it. You're participating in some way.
Right.
And so having that understanding, all you can do for the most part is like day to day try to hold on to kind of your core values and beliefs of what you have. So for me, as someone who's very like kind of grew up militant, politically minded, I was like, I had to bite my tongue a lot, which I didn't do the best at. So at times I got into like a good amount of trouble, not a good amount, but I got into some trouble in the military, and then I had to learn, like, I just sometimes got to shut up. It was just hard for me to do because I'm smart mouth. Yeah, and I got a smart mouth
and a comedian.
Bad combination in the military. Horrible combination. So it's like time and place. But I look back now at it and be like, you know what? It was a great experience. I hate it. I'm not gonna say hate. I largely disliked pockets of my service at particular times, but overall, it gave me a greater appreciation for one, my own personal individual freedoms and autonomy to go do stuff without asking somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And then two, a greater appreciation for the way that, geopolitics works.
Because you kind of get deployed in places, yeah.
Yeah, and you just get an inside look. You talk to people who are like doing certain type of jobs, and you're like, oh, what this, that, and the third. So it's more interesting. But having the foundation, I would say, was set by my brother. My brother, like I said, Special Forces. He was in the initial early invasions in, Iraq and Afghanistan in the early 2000s. So when he would come back, and I'm in elementary school, and he's telling me this, that, and the third about like, oh, Saddam, da da da. It's like I'm going to elementary school, like actually, like so. It's like,
oh shit,
you develop that, then you go into the military and be like, oh, I can't really talk like this.
Yeah,
so it's weird,
bro. Oh, I mean, I'm just imagining how you would have to deal with that day to day,
Oh, like, man.
Because you got so many things. The one thing you mentioned, right, is being the first Black person for a lot of people not a lot of people, but maybe some people in the military. So like, just you're dealing with that, right? They probably say something, or you see, you be like, all right, like, bro, nah, like, don't say that, like. It's not that what you're thinking about Black people or something. Like, you can all dunk, right? No. Like, what do you? We also play football and also do other things, and then all of us don't dunk.
We read too, for sure.
Yeah, books, we read. Run track, all this like that, and also don't play sports. We also are in finances,
Exactly. I try to be a quick story. So like the first base I got to after Germany was in Washington State, which is on the West Coast.
Yeah.
And I thought I was going to Seattle, like the Seattle area. When I was like, oh, okay, cool, be a little bit more liberal, But I was actually going to this place called like Spokane, Washington.
Oh, that sounds.
Yeah, y'all should look it up if y'all get a chance. So it's close to the border of Idaho. It's like 20 minutes away from Idaho. And when I was like looking it up, when I was there, it's like Idaho has one of the largest chapters of the Ku Klux Klan, I guess.
Oh my God.
And going there, I was like, damn, like this is crazy. I wasn't like worried. I'm coming from Tennessee, what I mean? Like I tell you, like my grandfather was born not too far from Pulaski, Tennessee, which is famous because Pulaski is the birthplace of the Ku Klux Klan. So when I tell people like, yeah, in terms of racism, they're pretty good.
At least you're far away from the birthplace,
Yeah, like, you know what I mean? It's like y'all just the branch. You know what I mean? It's like not being in Compton, but being somewhere where like I'm blood, and it's like, kind of.
Yeah, you're like, all right, that's nice.
Yeah, so getting there, I remember like when I first got even onto the base there, it's like a mix of civilians and military. So it's technically like a civilian fire department, I would say. So we respond to calls on the base, but then also off base. So you're working with civilians, people who are from Spokane, Washington area. And I remember this one dude, he was talking to me. He was like, I guess he was trying to relate. And in terms of...
already know.
You know what I mean? I was kind of there. I don't know if he maybe thought that I was uncomfortable or something, but I'm naturally kind of stoic and quiet when I'm kind of in a space. Like I always learn first 2 weeks at a place that you're new, just shut up and watch everything, because then you'll see how everything works. So I remember he came over and talked to me, and he's like, under the context was like, yeah, I can understand probably how it feels for you being here. You're like the only Black guy, and he said, like, I'll be honest with you, like, I kind of felt how you felt before, because, me and my wife went to Jamaica on vacation last week, and we were the only white people there in the resort or something like that. And I'm just listening to him talk, and I'm just like, so you're comparing your vacation around, people at your resort who are working there as Black people to my life every day here, being around white people.
Right.
And he was like, so, man, I get how you feel, man. It's, hit you with the... It'll be all right, bud.
Bro, the minute it would have been like, I know how you feel. I'm like,
do you?
You'd be like, really? Right. That's how you want to start the conversation?
Yeah.
I was in Jamaica. You want Jamaica to be the place of how
I was like Jamaica.
You probably think I'm Jamaican too, huh? All right.
So,
damn.
Yeah, I mean, you deal with little stuff like that. And like, I'll be real with you, for the most part, there's a good amount of racism within the military in and of itself, because people act like the military's, for a large degree, you have things to kind of stop that or address it systematically, I guess.
Yeah.
But let's not act like racism is just, I mean, it is a system within itself, but it's handled by individual people or humans. So meaning like there are racist people in positions of power within the military. Not all, of course, but so you're going to deal with it to some degree. And the issue is that when the military, they're kind of their own insulated pocket. So they handle things within their in-house, I would say. Like they have their own court systems, so to speak. If you get in trouble,
right,
you go before, the military court. And it's like all these different aspects of it. So, when I talk about racism, especially within the military, it's like it's fluid, man. Because one, it's kind of tough to prove, meaning that it's not that it existent, but to prove it, you got to talk to your supervisor, who then has to talk to someone, who then has to, and it can be like a boys' club, is like a good old boys' club, meaning like, yeah, this happened to me. He'd be like, all right, cool. I'm gonna go talk to, No,
they don't.
And then, not even they don't. They probably hanging out on the weekend drinking beer, like, this,
Oh yeah.
So it's like it's interesting, man. And for me, as someone like I'm more open about it now that I'm out of the military, but it's like I was struggling, man. I was dealing with a lot of like pressure, just from a mental aspect of it, from a stress aspect, and like during my military service, my father had actually passed away. Like he had cancer. Yeah.
Sorry to hear that, man. Damn.
Yeah, man. And so for me, I was dealing with a lot of grief on that aspect. Also being a young military member, also trying to figure my own stuff out. Because you in your early 20s, people kind of forget about that sometimes. They just look at you as this entity. But a lot of people are figuring life out in the early 20s. Like you trying to figure, you got to mess up too. So you have the responsibility that the military comes with. Also, you trying to figure out life. So for me, I fell into like issues with kind of drinking and substance abuse, trying to just cope with pain and figure out my stuff. And so you deal with that on top of like, racism and da-da-da. It's like now people talk about mental health and, speaking about it at the time, you had that access in the military, but the trick bag is that I remember going to a mental health in the military, and I sat down, and before we began, they were like, listen, I want you to know that yes, this is mental health. We're here for you to talk about what you need, but anything you talk about can be held against you. So if you talk about anything illegal or anything like that, we might have to report it to your chain of command. So it's like, bro, it was such a paradox for me, because it's like, so I can come in here and talk, but anything I say, I can get in trouble for. And they're like, yeah, basically.
That is what?
So what's on your mind?
It's like nothing.
Right.
It's like, never mind.
Nothing.
I'm good. I'm just seeing how you doing. How's your day?
Right.
Everything good? All right.
Right.
Nice to see that you here doing your thing. What?
Yeah, man.
I did not know that. They can report that. That's basically saying, hey, we're going to snitch on you, but you could tell us what you have on your mind. And it's like, nah.
It's like going to First 48. You ever watch First 48 and they bring you into the interrogation room and they nice and stuff like that? Man, what's up, man? So what happened? Who shot Lil So? You want some, you want a snack?
Yeah. What's your favorite strength? Hamburger, fries?
So.
That's what you guys like, right?
Right.
You like, really? Nah, I actually like filet mignon, You got any baguettes here? How about that? You know what I mean?
Let me get a croissant.
Yeah, I've been to France before. Just because you think I'm from Oklahoma, you think I ain't never had that?
So.
Well, you want a Whopper, right? What you guys eat? How about Whopper? Large Big fries?
Mac,
extra large sweet tea?
Chicken sandwich.
Yeah, but no, Diet Coke, motherfucker. Diet Coke. I'm on a diet.
So, yeah, I mean, I'm 31 now, which sometimes even sounds crazy saying it out loud, because I never pictured myself being in my 30s, which also sounds crazy. Not like in a bad way, but it's just like I never actively thought about like what's life gonna be like in my 30s. And so now looking back, it's like during the time of the military, it felt like at points the worst period of my life, but it was only 6 years, which 6 years is a long time. But when you live in it every day, it's like, this is horrible.
Yeah.
So now on the other side of it, like being like in my early 30s, I'm like, dang, like I had the opportunity to grow through that to get to where I'm at now, which is like now I get to do comedy, which is a blessing for me. I love comedy, you know what I mean? And then it's like also pursuing my master's degree. So it's like I feel like I'm living a great experience, even though you have different challenges, obviously, like knee and joint pain, but it's like,
all right, from the military.
No, from being 30. I mean, yeah, that too. It's like,
yeah, from fucking jumping off of ladders and leaning back.
I tell people, it's like, bro, it's like the military physical stuff that you got, because I got injuries and stuff like that, obviously. But for me, it's the waking up every day. When you in, but I don't know what switches, but as soon as you have a 3 before your age, in your 30s, it's like stuff cracking. It take a little bit longer to get up. Like I watched my cousin. Like my cousin's nephew, he like 7 or something like that. And he jumped off something and landed on his knees. And when he did it, like my shit hurt. I was like,
Yeah, he landed on his knees.
Kids, when they have that cake and sugar, it's just like,
yeah.
But it's just like, for me, like even seeing stuff sometimes, I'm like, man, my back hurt. Like I need a nap, man. What time is it, 2? Right.
Like, I need a nap, yo. And I just woke up 2 hours ago.
You're right. So
Yeah.
It's different, man.
It's like when you get older, you got to work. Now it's like mobility is like a thing now that you got to really care about, because back in the day, gym, just like, all right, I'm trying to get big
Boom.
arms, chest,
Yeah.
lats, everything. Now it's like, nah, I got to actually make sure I can be mobile. Like,
Mm-hmm,
can I get off the floor correctly? Can I like actually, do certain, that's when yoga start becoming an actual legitimate
a real thing.
Thing. Yeah, you start getting your 30s, you're like, yo, I thought yoga was whack. Now I think I might need that.
Right.
Yeah, I be seeing how y'all be, y'all can tie your shoes while grunting. Like,
right.
all right, I need to
That's a challenge
yoga.
I issue to people. I say, how quick can you jump up from somewhere without making no noise? Like, that's a real challenge. Yeah, man.
Oh,
like, challenge, like just how you sitting right there. Like, I was like, yo, imagine you have to jump up right now. Do it without being like, don't get no pre-breath before and don't afterwards. Like, just do it.
Yeah, it would even be worse. I would think about, is it worth it for me to even get up?
No.
Like, I'll have a whole thing being like, man, but is it really? That TV's gonna fall. I mean, whatever. I don't even watch TV. That
what
shit
do I have
fall.
to prove?
Yeah, it looks down. It falls down. I'm like,
right.
I
thought about, because I came into the Central Station here in Berlin.
Mm-hmm.
And this is another aspect of the fact that I realized, like, I'm definitely in my 30s now. We don't sprint no more. You know what I mean? Like, if you've been to Central Station, it's like a mall. It's like different levels. And so I'm trying to figure it out. Me coming from, the areas, like, I've been to train stations. Like, I know, the air, that general. And I'm looking like, okay, you got to go up and then left and that. And I'm looking at the time. I'm like, dang, I got like 4 minutes to catch this.
Yeah.
And Central Station busy, so like at one point I break out into a sprint. I go up some steps. I make a right. And it's cool. My adrenaline had got me going. I make the train. But then when I got there, like, and reality hit and everything started cooling down, I was like, oh, like, and my calf was tight on the left. My hamstring was tight on the right. Like, my knees was aching. I was like, God, man, it's like, bro.
Was it worth it?
No. I was like, I could just wait another 40 minutes. You know what I mean? Got something to eat. So, I mean, yeah, man, getting older is a blessing.
No, it definitely is, man. And you start learning some things, you got to do mobility more, start being more patient too. Man, it just really, but bro, man, because dealing with that whole thing, right? I think a lot of people from different cultures deal with it, especially in a different culture of like you being the first for somebody, right? And you almost kind of feel like a representative, so to speak. You know what I mean? So then you start acting different. You mentioned it a bit of like, all right, especially black dude from America, right? Yeah. Black dude from America has a different, because there's so many assumptions and stuff. So like, people be like, oh, you trying to play basketball right now, right? You're like, yeah, nah, I knew I was not gonna make it to NBA about like 6 years ago. So actually,
I knew
got
early
some other shit to do.
Yeah, I knew early when everyone started growing taller than me in like 9th grade. I was like, this is a dream I shouldn't pursue.
Yeah, and you at least had the foresight to know that, because some people still try and chase it, and then when they pop that Achilles tendon, that's when it's for real. Like, yeah, but not for real. You're not gonna make it.
Let it go.
Yeah, let it go. Like, you're in pain right now. You can't walk. Like, you're in a boot. But
in my head, though, you know what I'm saying? I feel like I could really. There was a point in time. I don't know if it's delusion, but it's like I feel like I could probably give Kobe like a good run. Like 1 or 2.
You thought? So? Oh, you was cocky. God damn.
That's like, in middle school when everyone's the same height.
Yeah.
So it's like, I feel like if I work on my game, like.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That aspiration. I mean? Yeah.
Then you get to 9th grade and dudes grow to like 6'4", and you're like, yeah, it's a wrap.
Yeah. I think the worst is when you see people that don't take care of their body as much still be shitting on the court or whatever. So like, I think every school has somebody that was very fast, very agile, very good in some sport that just like was eating junk food all the time, smoking, drinking, hungover. Like, oh shit, y'all, I just came from out of a bottle of Hennessy. All right, cool. Let me wake up and then go ahead and like, drop like 30 points, and you be like, yo, what? All right, like, bro, I had a good night's sleep. I ate well. I don't even drink like that. And then I'm out. You be hearing some of these football players be like,
I've seen them. I've seen dudes drink before the game, smoke, and I was like, how are you out here like fun? But I guess I don't know, man. Everybody has their own thing, So I guess God gives certain people, or the creator, whatever you subscribe to, gives certain people that thing, And there's times you get just like, man, I wish I could just like I wish I was 6'4", what I mean? Sometimes, but also it's like, what do they not have that I have, And it's Sometimes it's intellect, bro.
They don't have a non-fear of heights. There you go.
Right, non-fear heights.
So, you not be scared of heights. That's a big deal, bro. You know what I mean? A girl loses her cat in a tree, but nah, girl, I got this. You know what I mean? You climb up the tree and shit like that. You know what I mean? You ain't gonna fall off. Even you be like, yo, you throw the cat on your shoulder, do a backflip off the branch.
I'm not 6'4", but could he do that?
Yeah, you're not afraid of heights.
Right.
You know how many people could say that?
Yeah.
For me, I look at a ladder, I'm like, nah.
Yeah, nah.
I'm like, Final Destination Part 4 right there.
Man. It's not even that I'm afraid of it or not afraid of it. It's just like, it's still like something you don't want to do. Like, I know I could.
Yeah.
That don't change the fact I don't want to do it. Like when people say black people in swimming, it's like, it's not that we can't swim. It's that we don't want to.
Yeah. Because look, to what many people don't know, a lot of black people have watched a lot of nature documentaries. We just know what exists in most places in the world, like different flora and fauna. Like, all right, I know the ocean has sharks. Why my ass is gonna swim in the ocean? I know thick forests have bears. I seen what bears be doing to people. They had a little rag doll inside a cage and how they took out the cage and started leaping and jumping. I saw the Reverence, right? Or whatever with Leonardo
DiCaprio with that bear. God, dog.
See that?
That made me not want to go to the forest. Germans, they be like, you want to go hiking? I'm like, no.
Nah. You want to go to the Black Forest? Why they call it black? Nah, I'm good. That means the dark forest? Nah, I'm good.
I'm good, man.
Yeah, y'all got bears? I think so. Well, let's assume that it does. Right. I'm going to stay here on the ground.
Thing is, I mean, even talking about swimming, I know we kind of trailed off, but I love conversations like this. It's like, I saw something a couple years ago and it was like 70 or 80% of the ocean has been unexplored and we don't even know what exists out there.
What?
And for me, that's all I needed to hear. It's like, you mean to tell me like there's 70 to 80% of we don't even know what's out here? I'm cool.
Yeah, man. I mean, out here, I don't know what it is in Mannheim, but in here in Berlin, like, and when summertime, the lakes is what people go to all the time. They go to the lakes and like swim in it. And I don't know, like, for one, it's like, all right, I just assume lakes are dirty, right?
Yeah.
So I don't want to jump in it. So it's just like, we about to go to a lake, but does the water move? No, it just stays there.
So everyone been in this water for years.
Yeah.
Peeing in it, all this type of stuff. Like everybody just been in the same water. They're like, yeah, for the most part.
Yeah, you want to go? Nah. And then and some people actually, some few people I heard they had got something from it. They contracted something from the water. So I'm like, but hold on. This is known to everybody. Why is still people going to the lake? I just got here and got this information. So that means y'all motherfuckers know.
Yeah.
Like, what? I don't. Again, this is baby cultural difference. When I hear lake in America, that's where sewage was thrown into, or like shopping carts or random household materials. So lake was just, you look at it.
You from New York?
Yeah. So well, from East Coast. So I'm originally from Jersey and then lived in New York for a while.
I was gonna say, for being from the South, we think lake, or rivers, we think fishing for the most part. It's a little bit culturally different, but not for the most part. I mean, you jump in the lake sometimes if it's clean, but here in Germany, nah. I think it's more so. It's like you talk about cultures, like, and specifically white people. I think white people are more adventurous than black people are.
Yeah.
Like they're more willing to like potentially die for something just to have the experience to say they did it. You know what I mean? Like skydiving, bungee jumping,
right?
Going on these safaris where these monkeys be,
Yeah.
And it's like, I can respect it to a certain degree because you're curious, Also, I think we have more of a practical element of just like, why are we doing this? As black people, it's like, what's the why behind it?
Yeah.
Are we just trying to get like an excitement feel out of it? Because if you want to, you can just go to America and get in a police chase if you really want some adrenaline. But it's like,
go to Chicago or something. You go to any hood in America. Just get the thrill.
Just walk around.
Yeah,
walk around, me mug people, just see where it goes.
Yeah, just stare at somebody. Do the German stare in any metropolitan city in America and see what happens.
Okay, I'm so glad you said that. So can I ask, like, what was when you first came to Germany? What was it like? What were you thinking the first like crazy stare that you got?
Damn, I think the first crazy stare.
The fact that you don't even have to be like, what do you mean? It's like, because I know people are like, what? People stare. Go ahead, sorry.
No. I think, I don't remember, but maybe the things that came to mind was just like, yo, who this person looking? You know what I mean? Like, what's going on? Like, because either looking, I think it depends on who, right? Because I grew up in a neighborhood that's, rough. So I'm just naturally sizing up people, or I'm
Right,
used to
right.
people sizing me up.
Right,
So
right.
when people look at me, it's
Yeah.
kind of like, oh, what are you trying to?
Yeah.
What kind of time he on? Like, you
Right.
know what I mean? So if it's like a big dude staring at me, I'm kind of like, yo,
What's
what's
up?
up? Like, yo, who you looking at? Like, yo,
Right.
you think, you know what I mean?
All right.
And if I'm looking away and you still looking at me, now I'm kind
It's
of
a
positioning
problem.
my body like,
Your body language, your whole body language shift a little bit.
yeah, or a group. I said like more than two. They looking at me. I'm kind of like, yo, what you trying to do? Like, you trying to set somebody up? Like, what's up? Or like, you know, sometimes it might be like an older lady looking at me. I'm like, you know, I start looking around like, yo, I'm out the only black person. Like, why they look at me? You know? So like, it would always be on the defense. Like, yo, why you? What's going on? And then when I heard about the German stare, that's when I was like, I mean, even still, I ain't gonna lie to you. My subconscious, my body still be like, you know, somebody be looking at me for a while. I catch their eye looking at me. Kind of like, all right, I'm looking down, but my eye on the top of my eye, I'm still looking at you. Yeah. How about you?
It's different for me. It was like more so. So when I first moved here, like I said, it was during the pandemic, and the place I moved to, virtually no black people. I think I saw like one or two other black people for 3 years in the neighborhood. Because, you know, village, like there's major cities or even like, you know, smaller cities. And then outside of it, there's like villages. And the village that I was in, it was nice. Super quiet.
Yeah.
A lot of like middle-aged, older white people. And I remember going to like the grocery store and just kind of walking around. And it felt like I was in a mix of between like House of Wax and Get Out. Like, you know, when they brought that black dude out and they were having the auction, a little day party, and everyone was kind of just like looking at it like this. I was like, bro, my skin was itching. I was like, bro, am I like, what's going on? Like, are they gonna drug me or something like that? I was like, bro, what is happening? Because it's like, and it's not even just like, oh, I'm looking at you. It's like kind of like for me, it's the head turn one.
Yeah.
Like if you staring at me and I'm from point A and you watch me all the way from point B to around the corner, and then I walk around the corner and I can still see you looking for me, it's like, this is uncomfortable.
They did that even around the corner, like still
around the corner, bro. I'm talking about, I was arguably the only black person in like the village,
bro.
I saw like one or two.
Nigga, I would have been like, yo, they trying to get me, yo. If they came around the corner at a supermarket trying to look at you, God, bro, that is different.
At a Reeve.
Bro, and that's the uppity type of grocery store, bro. What? That's not a German nigga. That's a German follow.
Yeah, man.
They that's a German lurking.
So it's like, I don't know. I got more used to it over time, but also I think it's just like sometimes I can tell almost immediately it's more of a natural curiosity. Whereas opposed to when I first got here, I was like, is it like hate? Is it like anger? Which can be the case sometimes. I'll be real with you. It can be just like like what you doing here in our space environment.
It used to be this way. Now it's
and then there goes the neighborhood. Right. So, but it's gotten some taking used to. I don't really trip on it unless it's like really weird or egregious, like a super long time. Because people stare at people all the time. I think it's like a natural inclination to just be curious about something or just be daydreaming. Sometimes people ain't even really looking at you like that. They just thinking about something. Yeah. And you happen to be in their line of sight. But I think for me, it's like when you can't be slick about it. Because like people just look at people. Sometimes, you know, you can look and then look somewhere else. It's like, if you looking at me for a solid minute and not breaking eye contact, I'm gonna be worried. Because now I'm curious about what it is that you're thinking about. It's not even so much what you're staring. It's like, what is about me that has you so infatuated? Yeah.
It took a while. I mean, shout out to social media. I'll talk about it, and some people will like voice out why maybe. It's like they literally don't know what they're doing is of not offense, but it's taken out of a different context than what they think. So a German person staring. So like they'd be like, hey, sometimes I'm just spacing out. Because, you know, one thing I noticed here in Germany, especially when you take the U-Bahns and stuff, not as many people be on their phones as much sometimes. Sometimes they're just sitting down and just looking. Yeah. So I'm just like, I mean, eventually you will look at somebody. You know, you look weirder just looking at an advert at the ceiling than to look at eventually somebody. Yeah. So I'm like, all right, I guess maybe this is better than me scrolling on TikTok for an hour watching some dumb stuff. At least I can look at somebody and be like, okay. I didn't know people can wear that type of jacket. All right. Wow. I didn't know that jacket pairs with this type of sneakers. I learned something about fashion today. Yeah.
My new fun thing since being here in Germany, especially with the staring coach, is like, now I just like to come up with stories about people. Not true at all. You know what I mean? Like, I'll be looking at somebody and I'll see him do something, you know, something weird. And I just come up with an entire backstory in my head. Cause that passed the time for me. You know, you got a long train ride. Yeah. It's just like, I done had this whole story. They got wife and kids. I don't even know. You know what I mean? I just can't with he abusive. I don't know. Sometimes it depends on how angry or aggressive they are. Sometimes I don't know.
Oh,
and
shit.
then it passed the time for me. And then I get up and I'm like, oh man, that was. I can see why people stare.
Bro, you just, oh my God. You know what? That's
Fun game.
It's a fun ass.
Mm-hmm.
So how about if some of the German people that are staring, they actually probably doing the same thing?
But that's what I'm worried about.
Oh, because
now we throwing the blackness element, because now it's like, what am I in your imagination?
Oh, that's a good. Ooh,
because that's what I want to know. It's not so much that you're doing it, because I'm doing it too. But I'm trying to figure out in your scenario, like, what is it that you have me doing?
Wow. So little Tyrone, baby,
right. Little Tyrone here, came from Africa, has no family, and famine, and he's just trying to.
He came here on a raft,
man,
where he made it to the UK, but the wind swept him away to the shores of Spain or something. That's a good fucking
man.
Yo, the German stare. So for us it's like, all right, well, we're not gonna have, it's gonna be balanced a bit.
Yeah,
but for a German white person, I'm like, little Tyrone,
right?
You know, right. I wonder how he got his hair like that. It must be because of some of the other inhabitants in other cities here in Germany.
Yeah,
you'd be like, what?
Like, what's going on, man?
Of course, Tyrone loves his chicken. What? I'm vegan. Hold on, wait.
You know what I really hate about that stereotype about chicken?
What?
Like with black people specifically, it pisses me off because, like, nigga, chicken's good.
Very good.
I love it. And it's like, why people act like chicken's not good? Like, we the only ones that mutually exclusively like it.
Yeah.
But I hate eating chicken in public.
Oh, you got that too?
I hate it, man.
Yeah.
I tear it up at home, but when I'm in public, I gotta be so conscious. So I was like, man, you can't eat this common cash.
I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. Same, but bro, if it's like wings or something like that, and depending on the establishment, not like separated wings, but like wings together with the whole thing, bro, I will pick up a fork and knife, and I would use it.
No, that's crazy.
Bro,
a fork and knife.
It depends on how big the piece is. If it's like from an actual chicken, not the fucking miniature, but like, if I'm at a bar, I mean wings. But if it's like at an establishment and it's like, hey, here's an assortment of stuff on the plate, including wings and stuff like that. So here's the thighs with the wing attached. Then I'm like, damn. And they give you the fork and knife to put it there. And they look at you like,
oh my goodness.
Bon appetit. Here's the fork and knife if you use it. And you're like, but all right, you know what? I'm going to use it. I get the fork and knife in the right hand, fork in the left. And I was just like, all right, let me clean at least some of the plate here with the fork and knife. The rest, I'll look around. I'll be like, well, I can't get this with the fork and knife, so I have to use my hands, right? This is, it's logically, it's the only way.
That's crazy. It's like we had started this whole conversation when we were thinking about like a little bit of the masking that you have to do sometimes being for the first like black person. And it's like on that topic of like eating, bro. It's like I went to this like staff party thing that they had last week. Mm-hmm. And we went to this really nice, it's like not Cirque du Soleil show, but it's like a show where they have meals and then they also have like live show going on during it. And then they'll take a break and then they bring another portion of the meal. And it's like getting there in my head, I was like, man, I gotta, capitulate to like, cause it was one of the places where they had 3 different forks, 3 different knives and 2 spoons. You know what I mean?
Oh, man.
And what's crazy is that like I pick and choose sometimes when I allow myself to fully come out. Like I have a gold grill. Mm-hmm. I actually have a gold grill, and sometimes I wear it, sometimes I won't. So I know the perception of what that can be like going into a place like that.
A gold grill in Germany.
Yeah. I always have it. And so even going to a place like that, the environment, the setup, when you see all these different things, I was like, I know the perception is like this.
Which how many utensils is he's going to use?
Right. And then I throw some shock, and I'm like, that's your salad fork. You actually put that on the other side. But it's like, sometimes you got to throw stuff at them like that.
Oh, you probably be throwing them off like, yo, how you know they got utensils for salad? What?
I'm like, you haven't had proper dining etiquette?
It's like, whoa, that was a trick question, actually, we put on the plate here for you. We didn't know you knew that one. Congrats.
Right.
Okay.
Right. So, like, my fun thing to do is I do read, for real, I do. But it's just like sometimes when I'm out and about, I intentionally have 2 different books that look really challenging in terms of just the verbiage and language that I haven't opened. And I just set them wherever I'm working at. And then I'll be on like Instagram or something like that. So it's like when people come in, they're like, man, what are you reading? I'll be like, it's the geopolitical science, really the landscape that's going on in Eurasia, mostly within the context of the 1800s. You know what I'm saying? Just have that quote down. So then they'll be like, yeah, I know what I'm talking about.
Oh, man. Yeah, you probably be blowing their mind.
Don't know what it's about, but,
You like, hey, it's here.
I'm just here to dispel the notion that you think
that
black people don't read and we're not educated. Even though we're not reading technically right now. It's just that. I don't want you to think that we don't.
Yeah, don't judge this book or me by the cover. All right, look at the.
Right. So, but yeah, man. I mean, even larger like masking in and of itself is like, as I'm getting older, I'm also learning like even I don't want to mask, which is weird because I think everyone, regardless of race, to a certain degree, we all grow up thinking that like there's a way you're supposed to behave in society, you know, and that doesn't mean they act ignorantly, but it's like for me,
Right.
I feel like when you mask, you, me, or anyone, we are preventing ourselves from opportunities that we don't know existed. When you're your authentic self, I've noticed that I've ran into people or formed relationships or had opportunities come from that based off of just you being your normal self versus when you kind of be like, yeah, yes, okay, thank you very much. Like, you know,
Yeah.
which is, there's a time and place for everything, but, you know, overall, it's like authenticity, I think, wins.
Of course, and I think it wears you down after a while. You try
Yeah.
to like mask it, cause you be like, "Yo, what?" And then it doesn't pay off sometimes. And you be like, or it be that thing where you mask yourself so much that people have an assumption of this is who you are. And you know, especially when you're a black person too, you find people get comfortable with doing certain things. You be like, "Hot, now you got me fucked up." All right, I was being pleasant. Let me
Code switching. A lot of people don't know about the code switch. It's like, this is my corporate self. You know, when I go home and I put my Durag on and I relax, it's a different type of energy.
Yeah, for real. You put the gold grills on, you know what I mean? Like, yo, fuck golfing. You know what I mean? We better.
You know what's crazy? I actually know how to golf too. That's the crazy part.
You know how to golf?
Yeah. My dad love, you know, black dads love Tiger Woods. So it's like,
of course.
Growing up, I was just like, oh, Tiger Woods, you know, okay, cool. So I've been on a course before. So it's like, I feel like I could, my goal too as well, maybe I'm just weird. Like I want to throw the grills in. I want to, you know, put something comfortable in. I just want to go to the course with a bunch of, you know, I don't know, older like white dudes.
Oh, you have to do that.
And just see how, like, what it's going to be like and then hustle them.
Oh, bro, you have to do that. And you actually play too?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not great, but it's like I know how to swing the club.
Still, bro, that's half the battle.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, bro, but every time I try to swing, I look stupid. I'm too big to start playing golf right now because I'm trying to swing it. I look like I should be physically able to do so, but it actually takes finesse. And I'm like swinging it hard. I'm not hitting the ball. I'm like, all right, I'm sweating. This is not a problem.
I'm getting nothing out of this right now.
Yeah, I'm sweating and the ball is still on the tee. It's not good.
Oh, for sure.
So, all right, I got 2 more questions for you. So, so one thing I saw from you is that I saw you do interviews with some people, mostly black people on the street in Germany.
Yeah.
And what's that about?
So, man, that's a really good question. I'm glad you asked that. Like I said, when I first moved here, I bought the camera, and in my head, I was like, I want to do content from the perspective of an American and a Black American being over here outside of the pocket of America. Because I think, as you can probably remember, like into 2020 through 2021, America, we was dealing with a lot of like, historically always dealing with like, you know, racial inequality and police brutality, but especially at that time, it was the heels of like Breonna Taylor, George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery, and it was like back to back to back to back to back.
Yeah.
So for me, also leaving America was like, I got to get away from this because my mental, like I feel like I'm going like every day I'm waking up, I'm mad. Interactions at the thing, I'm mad. I see like I'm. It's like it felt like a lot mentally. So when I came over here, I was like, let me, not even just in the context of race, let me get perspective of other people about other stuff. And so that is what inspired the idea to go out and do interviews with people. And also from the context of like, let me just figure everything out. Let me figure out what content is. Let me figure out how to edit. Let me figure out what type of questions to ask. And so based off of that, I had also been doing comedy, but it's just like once those popped, I kind of looked at it like this. I was having a conversation with my buddy the other day. He's like, how come you don't keep posting no more? He's like, once it started generating whatever, how many, like one of the videos had like 600 something on TikTok or something like that. Like on my TikTok, it's pretty good, but I don't be posting on it.
Yeah.
And he's like, why you stop? And I was like, for me, it was more so like I figure out I know how to do this. Not that I have a lot of experience with it, but like, okay, I know this type of video would generate this. Let me focus more on the comedy aspect of it, and let me figure out what I want to say. Meaning like, yeah, those are mostly like generic type questions. Let me figure out the heart of what it is that I'm trying to explore, especially with comedy as well too. And then let me readdress it. Meaning like now I know, okay, I have 30 seconds to do this. Within the first 8 seconds is how you grab people's attention online. This is how you generate metrics. These are the type of things to show who you need to, like, I want to get that information first. Once I develop the content, which is what I've been doing over the last year and a half. Now I have the content. Now I know the metrics. Now I can put it together and grow it from there. And so asking people questions and getting perspective is something that I like to do without a camera anyway. Like I enjoy having dialogue with someone who's thinks completely different than me, is from a different space, because that's the only way to grow. I think, in
Right.
my opinion, like that's the only way you're gonna really like stretch is like, I don't know something, but this is like how you subscribe to it. This your lifestyle. All right, so tell me like why? Like why? Okay. What
Yeah.
about this? And so putting that just in front of a camera is like it's a ongoing process. It doesn't happen overnight. And so for me, it's like I'm inspired to keep doing that, but I also been focused on the comedy aspect as well too, because you can't. I feel like you can't. You can, but when you try to split your time between this, and being a student and being this, it's like, bro, you don't have time. You're gonna burn out.
Yeah.
So for a large part of time, I took a break from that to focus on the comedy. I feel like comedy is getting to a point where I feel more comfortable,
Mm-hmm.
and now I want to address that. Now having the knowledge of what I've done through comedy and being here for a while, now I can get to the heart of what I want to ask.
Nice, bro. Yeah, I mean, 'cause I saw it, and I
Mm.
think like especially when people are intrigued by hearing other stories from
Mm-hmm.
people. I mean, it just adds more to the world in terms of understanding and
Yeah.
nuance and things.
Yeah.
And then also as you mentioned, you're a comedian, and
Mm.
you perform out here in Germany. And where'd you start at comedy, really?
I tell people, I mean, I really feel like all my life, and I'm not saying that just like I've always been funny, but it's like even when we were kids, like we would do, my sister and I, when we would have like guests come over,
Hmm.
I'd be like, hey, let's go put on some like nice clothes. You know, you got that one church suit. Like I'll go put on, I get super dressed up and then
Yeah.
come downstairs and just put on like a little show, like do that little dance you do. Yeah, you know what I mean? It's like,
Ah.
so from that, I was like, oh man, if you make people laugh, like it feel good, So
Hmm.
growing into that, like the first time I actually did traditional comedy where you standing in front like doing it was like I was actually deployed. I was on deployment and we were trying to break up the monotony of just being out in the heat and stuff like that. So I'm telling
Hmm.
jokes and I thought to myself, I actually did bad. I did bad and I was like, I
We
gotta do
all
this
did,
in a
yeah.
real context. So in 2016, I went to a comedy club in Spokane, Washington, and I signed up for amateur night. And I think it was like 5 minutes. And I did that 5 minutes and I remember I killed. And I was like, oh, I like this.
Oh
I was like, I
shit.
can do this. And then like 2 weeks later, I was like, I'm gonna do it again. Did it again, and I bombed. And I was like, I hate this. You know what I mean? I was like, based off the two experience, like killing the first time, I was like, oh yeah, I can do this. And then going up there and bombing, I was like, dang, like
Like,
this
what
is.
happened?
So yeah, 2016, I really kind of fell in love with the process of it. 2021, first time I was really doing it consistently here in Germany.
Hmm.
And I say 2024, the beginning of 2024 was the first year I stopped saying amateur comedian. Because for a long time I would limit myself to, I'm just an amateur comedian. I'm just figuring it out.
Mm.
But I remember the first time I got paid, and it was only like $20. But I remember I was looking at the
Still.
20. Yeah, I remember looking at the $20 and I was riding home and I was like, I just got paid to tell some jokes. I was like, all right, I'm not an amateur no more. So in 2024 is the first time I said that. And I remember literally that moment, like within 2 days, once I said, I'm not amateur no more,
Hmm.
someone reached out to me, like, hey, would you want to come do a slot? Like it pays, da, da, da. And that from this year is the first year I've consistently every month to some extent gotten paid to do comedy somewhere.
Nice.
And so for me, it's like, okay, go in with it. Like go take it more seriously, craft your
Mhm.
writing, you know what I'm saying? Work on your sets and just get more exposure. That's
Yeah.
even why I'm here in Berlin. It's like I'm trying to expand, trying to learn, trying to pick up stuff. And
And and you're in a spot too where they also your perspectives, your jokes, and
yeah,
everything, right? That is like very new and interesting, probably for
mm,
people all around that region.
yeah,
So I mean, really the world's your oyster in that
yeah.
sense, in terms of what you want to do. So, one question I like to ask some people on this podcast is the last question,
Mm,
is that you've been through a lot of cultures, man. I
yeah.
mean, not only in the military, but like from the South, and then
Mhm.
you going to Spokane, Washington, Germany, from the base to living in a village, basically.
Yeah.
All these things you've been through. What's the number one advice you would have given to your younger self through all this time?
Mm, that's a good question. Number one piece of advice I'll give to myself: be quick to listen and slow to speak. Quick to listen and slow to speak, which is basically just means like take your time and process information wherever it's coming from, even if it may feel like it's being offensive. You just sometimes you got to sit in it and learn. Don't just say the first thing that come to your mind because sometimes we think we're right and we're not.
Hmm.
Um, and excuse me, I take that back. First, the biggest advice I'll give, something my father told me before I even joined, when I left to join the military. He said, "Man, put God first." And I don't dig into anyone's religion or spirituality, but in terms of call it creator, call it whatever you want to call it, I call it God. And basically that means is don't get too high on yourself. You know what I mean? Like understand every problem that you have, whatever it is may be, is minuscule to the larger picture of what it is that you're trying to do with your life and the way that you're trying to live your life in the fashion that you want to do it. So maybe it's like two pieces of advice based off of that. Be quick to listen and slow to speak.
That's some real shit right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially navigating through different cultures. Because sometimes you're quick to be like, yo, what the? And then you be like, oh.
I was wrong. That's the hard thing. Like sometimes admitting that you're wrong is really kind of tough sometimes if you don't have a big ego. You know, like we be wrong, man. It's like, no, like sometimes you be dead wrong. Like I just sat there 2 a.m. one time like, yeah, I was wrong for that.
Yeah, you like, damn, y'all, I really fucked up, yo.
Yeah. Shit. So yeah, man, just be quick to listen, slow to speak. Yeah, I would say.
Nice, man. And then also too, for anyone who wants to find you, man, it's keeping up with Jones.
So that's the YouTube. I really should change the hoodie, but actually my Instagram tag is Jon JON _ Jones JONES _ comedy. Like Jon Jones, UFC fighter.
Yeah, Jon Jones.
So Jon Jones comedy. You can find me there on Instagram. I think as well as TikTok. I have my link in there, and I'll be posting, some of the regular shows that I'll be doing very soon in January of 2025. I'll be on a 4-city, 4-night tour towards the end of January. I think like Frankfurt, Heidelberg, Mannheim, Mainz, or Darmstadt, some of that region, and then and things are picking up as well too for me as well. So I think maybe even in Stuttgart the month after that. So I'm looking forward to the experience, man.
Nice, bro. You've been maneuvering out here.
I'm trying, man. I'm trying.
You're doing your things. Yeah, so much for amateur comedian. You're professional out here.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Luxembourg too coming up. I mean,
look at that, man.
You know.
Dates coming in. Bow, 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 bow.
So, but also, I'm gonna take the time while we're on camera. I appreciate you even inviting me onto the podcast in and of itself, and I appreciate what you're doing in this hub of like culture. Blackness is a diaspora, but even as a Black American living over here, I'm also proud of you. With cameras on, cameras off, like I'm proud of what you're doing for yourself because it's not necessarily easy. We don't hear that a lot. And there's a lot that we deal with that I know I bottled up.
Yeah.
It's a lot. So I'm proud of what you're doing out here, man.
Bro,
sure.
Thank you very much, man. Thank you, man. Because this podcast, every time you be like, I don't know, but that means a lot, bro.
No,
thank
you,
man.
You're doing it.
Thank you, man.
I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
And guys, thank you for listening and/or watching to the Third Culture Talk podcast. I'm your boy, Jan Yennefen. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.